or ESPNClevelandContest.com for more information and to register. Kick off the tailgate season with the 4th annual Next Level Cook-Off, Friday, September 5th. See you there.
RJ the Movie Critic here. Don't miss my reviews and hot takes every Thursday on The Really Big Show, brought to you by Streamline, the free app that makes finding what you watch easy, fast, and fun.
Ordering custom gear is effortless at Fusion, and we know because they are an official apparel provider for us here at ESPN Cleveland. Whether you're outfitting your team, hosting an event, or changing your company's brand identity, they've got you covered. From free custom websites to small or large bulk orders, they produce everything in-house in Cleveland with quick turnarounds. Their premium brands and expert decoration methods ensure your gear makes a statement. Ready to elevate your apparel or gear? Visit them at FusionGear.com. That's FUZION Gear.com and get started today.
Andre Knott from my team at Gantley Buick GMC. Visit Gantley Buick GMC in Strongsville. You can lease an all-new redesigned 2026 GMC Terrain Black Edition starting at $334.
Hello.
$995 due at signing, or you can sign and drive for $428. Your new GMC Terrain comes with heated seats and steering wheel, adaptive cruise control, and a new 15-inch screen. Visit GantleyBuickGMC.com for current inventory and lowest sell prices. GMC, we are professional grade. Includes 10,000 miles per year, plus tax, title, and dock fee with approved credit.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor, but try picking your fave from all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a couple of years, bank the equity, downsize, travel, but with the unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity is still going to be there when you're ready. Well, what if I told you you could bank the equity right now? With TrueHold, you can sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today, and then you bank the cash now, stay in the home that you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours for you to do
Hello.
you want with it. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and...
Oh, it's going. I just sent a bunch of spots for the in-game commercial log from us to Bryn.
Call 855-300-9993 or go to TrueHold.com. It's TrueHold. The smarter, faster...
We went from being responsible for 6 spots in those broadcasts to like 35.
TrueHold.com.
Team Neo, the region's only Jobs Ohio network partner, is building a stronger Northeast Ohio because economic development is the ultimate team sport. We connect businesses, talent, and opportunity to drive real impact. Visit NortheastOhioRegion.com to learn more. Team Neo, one region, one team, one goal.
The 850 ESPN Cleveland Hotline is proudly brought to you by MGM Northfield Park. Find your fun at MGM Northfield Park. ESPN Cleveland presents Tony Grossi's Top 5 Preseason Storylines. Number 2.
Sometimes a
Coming in 30.
to make a team. In the early stages of Brown's training camp, there's one clear candidate that nobody had on their roster bingo card. That player is wide receiver Gage Larvadin. He's an undrafted rookie from South Carolina who has found the end zone more than any receiver and has been a reliable pass catcher for every one of the 4 quarterbacks.
Follow Tony Grossi's Browns coverage all season long on the Land on Demand.
This is Gerard Cherry of The Next Level, and you're listening to the home of the Browns, 850 ESPN Cleveland,
Coming in.
a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Live on a First Friday Miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. We are coming to you live from the Cross Country Mortgage campus in Berea. And in addition to that, we will have the voices of the Cleveland Browns, Andrew Siciliano, and the great Z, Gibbe as well, all down in the broadcast booth down in Carolina, where they witnessed joint practice number 1 between the Browns and the Carolina Panthers. Before we get into all of that, there is some massive housekeeping over the last 12 hours since we did the show, including the reality that Shedeur Sanders will start at quarterback on Friday night against the Carolina Panthers. A couple of other things from Coach Stefanski's press conference this morning. Shedeur and Tyler Huntley are going to be the quarterbacks on Friday, so no Flacco, no Gabriel or Pickett. Pickett and Gabriel competed in the 7-on-7s during joint, but I'm going to lean on my guys down there for the big news on that stuff, and we'll have some of the Stefanski press conference for you coming up here momentarily. But this is where we start, and it is, without question, who is starting on Friday night. Dr. Z, away we go, buddy.
Yo, we were very fortunate this morning. We woke up, and it looked like it was going to be just an absolute deluge and miserable, and in classic buffoon fashion, I refused to pack any rain gear. I'm like, it's not going to rain.
How did you not pack a raincoat?
Because it just didn't make any sense to me that we would be somewhere in the year 2025 around an NFL team that if it rained had zero cover, and they legitimately had zero cover there. That didn't make any sense to me. That wasn't in my world. If it happened in ours, you could have stood under our tent. Like, you would think there would be many places to sit. Not. The good news is I put on a full poncho. Thank you, RJ, very much. And it reverse jinxed it. It did not rain from the second practice started until the second it ended.
And then the heavens opened up.
Yeah, then it rained again. But I'm fine. Dry. Gibbe had me freaked out. He's like, pack other clothes. I was picturing myself like wringing shirts out. I'm like, I got nothing.
Let me explain something, Bo. Before they got here, it was raining sideways, and we were walking out to practice when a giant bolt of lightning came down, and then we were told, time to go back inside. Like, I was soaked before Coach ever even came to the podium at 9:15. So I brought extra clothing because I was like, I don't know how this is going to go, but this isn't looking great.
Bo, I had a Panthers player tell me before practice that he goes, dude, I have played in a hurricane before. Yesterday's practice was more rain than the hurricane. Jeez. And that's what happened all morning. And then literally practice started and miraculously it stopped raining.
And it was perfect because it was like 75, no humidity, cloud cover.
You got to take off the garbage. You didn't have to wear the garbage bag.
No, I took
the
poncho right off. We'll call it a poncho.
It looked like a garbage bag.
Yeah, it could have been, although it would have dropped a lot of things out of the spot for my head and my arms. But it was nonetheless, basically that's what it was. But and then Adam Thielen told us on the side that the week before here had been 4 days in a row of over 105 degrees and 95% humidity.
Yeah. Jeez.
So
kind of like us.
Yeah, I was going to say similar. Yeah. But so you mentioned at the top, big story. Obviously, Shedeur is going to start. Now, when people say that, how can you start him? He didn't get any reps with the ones. The ones aren't playing, so he's going to get. He got reps with the twos, which he has started to get some of, but got more reps with the twos today. In fact, every rep with the twos in the team periods today. And that's who he's going to be playing with. Now, the Panthers will play their starters for about 8 to 12 plays per their head coach, Dave Canales. But, yeah, it's going to be Shedeur getting the start, and it's just him and Snoop Huntley. Those are the only quarterbacks that are up. And Snoop Huntley got some reps today right off the –
Wild, yeah.
Walked right in, got on a plane, and practiced today. It is wild.
Yeah. Andrew, what do you make of this quarterback plan over the next couple of days?
I'm here for it. I love it. I mean, I think it's what we all want to see. Now, you would love also to have more guys available. You would love that the number 2 quarterback, as Kevin said, they're trying to get him up to speed. And Tony Grossi asked, well, what happens if you can't get him up to speed? And
he'll be fine.
Kevin started laughing. He goes, Tony, it'll be okay. We'll get him up to speed, with a smile on his face. But look, we all want to see him. So let's do it. Now, all 5 quarterbacks were able to participate today.
Yeah.
So it's not as if Pickett and Gabriel weren't getting some work. They did. Not a lot of work. Kenny more than Dylan. And they both had their moments certainly in practice, but they don't want to put them out there in a game situation. They're actually going to have to be in a live situation, running to the sideline or running for their life. They don't want to aggravate those hamstring injuries. You want Shedeur, you're going to get Shedeur. I know some of the people that say, well, I wish he would have done more in practice. Yeah, I agree. But I think we all also agree the guy's a gamer. All right, buckle up. Let's go.
Yeah, I honestly don't need to see anybody other than him.
Me neither.
Play the whole game unless something happens. Play the whole game.
For sure.
Maybe that does happen.
And I think that's probably for the receivers, that's the best scenario for them, too, because at least they've gotten work with him. So here's how it went today. just from a quarterback perspective to kind of really paint the picture for people. So the first period was 7-on-7s. Kenny Pickett was first up with the starters and had a nice session. Threw it away on first down, then had a nice deep out to Jerry Jeudy, a comeback to Cedric Tillman, and then Jerry Jeudy. By the way, Jerry Jeudy was phenomenal today. He was the best player.
He was yapping.
Yeah, best player on the field by a wide margin. He had a hesitation route where he left 2 Panthers in the dust for a big gain afterwards, so that was with Pickett.
Were we deprived of J.C. Horn, though? Did I see that this morning somewhere?
Yeah, he was involved in an automobile accident on the way in. He's going to be fine, but no, he did not practice.
That would have been the one you would have liked to have seen is that. Yeah.
He was talking, though.
He was talking, and Jerry Jeudy was talking right back.
He was in sweats. He's got a wrap on his left hand, 8 stitches in his left hand. But Canales said that he should be good to go next week. Granted, Brown's not part of it next week.
I would imagine those two go back to Alabama, South Carolina. I don't know if they ever crossed paths on the field, but it's a pretty small world down there.
It is, and Jeudy had the highlight play of the day was a deep over in the team period from Joe Flacco for probably could have been a 60-yard touchdown, but it was just out in front of him, made a nice one-handed catch, and so he was telling them, like, I'm cooking y'all. They're like, where? Cooking us where? He's like, on the film. Watch the film. That's where I'm cooking you, which was good. But so 7-on-7s, the first session, Kenny Pickett with the 1s, got 4 plays, then Shedeur with the 2s, then Dylan Gabriel with the 1s, and then Dylan Gabriel with the 3. So Dylan Gabriel actually got 5 reps there. Then they went to a red zone 7-on-7. It was Flacco with the 1s, Gabriel with the 2s, Pickett with the 1s, and then Huntley with the 3. So in the 7-on-7 periods, the only people that got reps in both 7-on-7 periods were Pickett and were Gabriel, and Pickett only worked with the 1s.
Yeah, you were pretty adamant about that yesterday, and I think you can. I was curious if the time away would hurt him, but I guess we were going to find out today if it would hurt him or not, and it appears that it has not.
No, and he made some nice throws in the red zone 7-on-7. Had a touchdown to David Njoku over the middle. Had one to Tillman at the back line that I think they said he may have been out of bounds. But
I thought he might have gotten the feet down.
Either way, the throw was an excellent throw. And then you got into team period, and that's where Gabriel and Pickett were out. So in team, it was just Flacco with the 1s, Shedeur with the 2s, and Huntley would get whatever reps there were with the 3s. So it still is a 2-Haas race, I believe, for week 1 starter, Pickett and Flacco. I still think Pickett is the guy that they would like to see win the competition, and then we'll find out ultimately, how that all plays out. But Joe Flacco had some very nice throws today. I talked about the one to Jeudy on the deep one. He had another one to David Njoku that was a beautiful ball in the red zones that should have been caught, that was dropped, should have been a touchdown. Let me see, what else did he have? He had one in the red zone team that was a great throw to Luke Floria in traffic where Floria just kind of sat down, and it was a perfect ball, and he had the touchdown to Tillman over the middle where Tillman got smashed and actually went to the size fine, but made a great catch in the middle.
2 DBs kind of ran into each other. Tillman got a little bit of it, and he was a little bit shaken up, but didn't look too bad. Nick Scott took out, I can't remember who he took out, but Nick Scott took out a teammate there. The one to Floria, I mean, the way he flicked the wrist to Flacco in the red zone, like, great little option route. He sat down, and it's just like, psh, it was a dart.
Bernie would say it was artistic.
It was.
It was artistic the way that he threw it out there. So overall, I thought it was a good day for our offense. We talked with the Hoff, and he felt like the offensive line, certainly in pass pro, was great. We tried to run some up the middle. They've got big defensive tackles, and at times we were not able to get that push up the middle. The thing, though, that bothered me about the offense's performance, if there was one thing I would say that stood out from a negative standpoint, is there had to be 3 or 4 pre-snap procedural penalties, false starts, illegal motions, and there had to be 4 or 5 holds on runs.
For what it's worth, when Dave Canales, the Panthers coach, went to the podium, he said his biggest issue was their pre-snap penalties and all the flags thrown on them. So I think both coaches would say, hey, good work. Here's what was good, here's what was good. You just ran down what was good, certainly for the Browns. Both coaches, their points would be way too many flags.
Yeah, this was not like the setup in Philly as well, where Philly was set up where you could kind of stand in the middle of 2 fields and all the action was either immediately to your left or your right. The way that it was set up was on one field, we'll call it on the we'll say it's east-west. On the west end is where our offense operated, but on the other field, on the east end is where their offense operated. So they were 100 yards basically apart from each other on the two fields. So it was really hard to keep track of everything that was going on. I know that the Panthers had some success throwing the ball. I know that our D-line really dominated the day, though. They felt like they were very, very good. When the quarterbacks of the Panthers did have time, they made some nice throws. They've got good receivers.
Yeah, they do.
Thielen, Legion, and T-Mac, or Tet.
He does not like to be called Tet.
What is he like, T-Mac?
He wants Tatora, or he wants his full name.
Good luck.
Yeah.
He's going to be T-Mac. That's what it's going to be.
Too, but
yeah.
you
got to have what you got to have. Hey, guys, I want to just run something by you guys. I want to run something by you. You were talking about quarterbacks. You guys tell me if this is fair. Kenny Pickett starting week 1 unless he gets hurt?
Don't know that that's entirely a lock, but it could. It's one of the
That's
vets.
my
We
feeling.
agree.
That's my feeling. And you and I have been talking about this all
That's
summer.
what I've said the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. But but he had the. I'm saying unless he's injured in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if are we watching a competition is what I'm saying, because it felt like, at the beginning it was like it's all 4, but then it's really 2, but then really, Kenny missed a week and a half and he's right back at the top when we get back to it. So look, it feels like Kenny Pickett's the starter barring something completely unforeseen in the next couple weeks.
I think it's, again, with all you keep using the phrases I've used the whole time. It's his. I believe that it is his job to lose.
Yeah.
And so that could come from injury, but that could also, let's say we go to Philly next week and it's just an abomination. Then I think that would open the door. I think that Joe Flacco is ready to go, and I don't know if you saw it today, Adam Schefter thinks we're carrying all 4 quarterbacks. So,
well, who's been saying that all summer?
You?
Yeah.
That's right.
I've been saying that too.
We've been talking about this since April. You're not going to cut or trade one of the 2 rookies.
You're not going to cut either of the 2 rookies. You can't get either through waivers to get them to the practice squad.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
Now,
So-
is there a scenario? Look, can somebody get hurt and you end up on IR? Sure.
Listen, if the reports out of New Orleans are true about what a disaster it is down there, that's a team that certainly I would imagine would be interested in one of the 2 veteran quarterbacks on our roster. Certainly Kellen Moore obviously would know Kenny Pickett from last year.
Sure.
Tyler Shuck has been tough, and there are veteran playmakers on that offense that I'm sure would want a quarterback.
Are you sure they want to win?
Well, no. I think they're
sure.
in a 2-year. No. They're going to have 2 bites at the apple at quarterback. They're going to get Nussmeier this year. If they're the worst team in the league, they'll get Nussmeier, the opportunity to draft him this year, and people are coming around on him. And after that, it's going to be Arch.
Yep.
So, they're in a 2-year window here to try to land their quarterback.
Back to your original question, though. Yes, it has been my belief all along that it's Kenny Pickett's job to lose. I think that it's very important that he gets some work, but I feel strongly that the best outcome for the Browns is that Kenny Pickett is the best quarterback in this competition. And that's what I felt from the very beginning.
We've been saying that all summer. I feel
still.
like people haven't been listening, but if you just
I don't think
watch,
people wanted to listen to it
probably.
because people who are fans of the Cleveland Browns for years have been on some level indoctrinated to or wanted to hate Kenny Pickett. He was starting quarterback for the Steelers.
Yeah.
And his numbers, with a bad offensive coordinator who is he even in football anymore?
Matt Canada is no longer in the NFL. Yeah.
He didn't have great numbers. So it was like, that guy's not good. He's won 15 games, 7-game winning drives. I think that's part of it. And I think people have seen, what Joe Flacco can do and how he can throw for 300 yards. And we know the very, very good of Joe Flacco. And unfortunately, we know some of the downside with the turnovers. But I really think this is a team that is set up right now that the way that they will win games, I think it's very difficult. To me, Joe Flacco, and we were just kind of joking about on sideline, it would be kind of fun, week 1, be like, okay, this is a game that we're going to have to win in a shootout. Play Joe Flacco.
Right. And I told you no way on earth that could actually work.
Where
you
were
like, hey, this week we'll go Flacco.
Because styles make the fights,
Pickett.
you know what I mean? But that's not going to happen. You can't do that in reality. But this team is, I think, going to be hard-pressed, no matter who the quarterback is to be a team that is we're going to beat you 37-35. I just think that's a hard scenario. We're going to have to play really good defense. We're going to have to run the ball, and I think Quinshon Judkins and getting him back is incredibly important for that. And we're going to need a quarterback that can manage the game, not beat ourselves, and then when those few plays come, where we can hit that hard play action and you get that deep over to Judy or whatever it is, that we're able to hit those chunk plays. And if we can do that, we can be successful.
Who would you rather see hit those chunk plays on the play action?
Between Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco?
Yeah, because I still have memories of 2023, and I still think Joe can sling it.
There's no doubt
of course
he can sling it.
And I'm not rooting for Joe over Kenny, to be clear.
There's no doubt.
There's only one man in the history of this franchise to throw for 300 yards in 4 consecutive games, and he was on the podium today wearing number 15 with an air about him that still believes he's going to win the job.
I'll tell you this,
and
too.
He may not.
Guys, I'll just tell you this, too. Like, from a this is just us talking, and certainly Kevin's going to do exactly what he wants to do. He's the boss running things when it comes to the operation. But if this is the way that it's going, I do think that this fan base needs to be able to wrap their head around Kenny. And so, like, if that's the way, I mean, like, I think the sooner you say he's the guy, Kenny's starting week 1, and he's our starter, the better, because I think the last thing you want is this thing being something that drags on, and then all of a sudden you're the opener and it's Cincinnati and you're introducing the starting lineups at quarterback, and the folks are like, wait a second, we want to see Flacco. So, I mean, we dealt with that. I just think from a messaging
100%.
standpoint, do that quicker than later.
Well, and then that goes back to what we were saying is that, Kevin Stefanski said it's going to be sooner or later, and more sooner rather than later, I'm sorry. What does that mean? I'm with you. Kenny Pickett's looked good. Like, Kenny Pickett out there with the ones looked very good throwing the football. Made good decisions. The balls were accurate. This guy was a first-round pick in the NFL. This is a guy who, in our division, won 3 out of every 5 games that he started.
No, I understand, but I think you and we all know it because we're in the middle of it. But
100%,
the collective,
he is not the people's choice.
The collective needs to start wrapping their heads around that, because there's going to be 70,000 of them in the stands in the opener against Cincinnati.
You know what's interesting to me as well is that we keep going back to this idea that, you could get a first-round quarterback reclamation project, right? Like, we could unlock that. But at the same time, there's derision from most fan bases naturally until you actually see it happen. Yeah. People go, we can get that guy. And now you're like, but he's no good. He's no good. But then if you actually get that to work, the same fans are going to say, we knew all along. Yeah, I mean, Kenny Pickett, right? Sure, of course.
Listen, it is complete revisionist history on how things have gone for Bake. We're here, where he was the starting quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And they moved on.
And it
goes
didn't
to
work.
the Rams. But I think people forget, when he went to Tampa, he had to compete. Was it Kyle Trask?
It was Kyle Trask out of Florida.
With Kyle, and a lot of people, thought it was going to be Kyle Trask.
They didn't even want him. Baker was it was for a bucket of balls he signed in Tampa.
Yes, and he made the most of it. So it wasn't like it was, we've got him. And certainly in Minnesota, it wasn't like, man, now we've got Sam Darnold. Now we're ready to roll. It was supposed to be J.J. McCarthy's team. He gets hurt. Nobody there was excited about the fact that it was Sam Darnold.
Not at all.
And then he goes and has a great season. So it's we'll see how it plays out. Now, I would argue that both Sam Darnold with his supporting cast and Baker in Tampa and in that division, we're probably in a better position for that kind of success than whoever it is that quarterbacks our team this year.
And those guys were top 5 picks. Kenny Pickett was in the 20s in a quarterback draft
that
down. Nobody thought was any good. So there is a difference there as well.
Right. Baker was the number 1 overall pick.
Sure.
Darnold was 2. Geno Smith might be one that is the most
second-round pick. Yeah.
Similar in terms of that story, where they, you thought he was going to go a lot earlier. He doesn't, and ends up having a very nice career. And now he's the the quarterback of the Raiders after being very successful in Seattle, been a Pro Bowler and throwing for a lot of yards and all of that. Listen, this is going to be, and I go back to when you apply what I would call like big picture sense to it all. We went through it. Joe Flacco hasn't started 10 games in a season since 2017.
Yeah.
And in that period, the 1 year that he had a winning record was with us. So that's what we've seen, and that's what we believe. And by the way, I love Joe Flacco. I'd be thrilled if Joe Flacco ends up being starting quarterback. I love watching him play. I think he's a tremendous guy. I've enjoyed thoroughly being around him. I would root for him, period, full stop, in any situation. But Joe Flacco can't be an answer for this franchise in its quest to help find a quarterback.
Correct.
I'm not saying Kenny Pickett will be, but he at least is a bite at that apple, given that he's still on his first contract and was a first-round pick in the National Football League with a winning record. He's the winningest quarterback by percentage that has been on a roster with the Cleveland Browns since I've been with this organization beginning in the 2013 season.
But Joe Flacco's fun.
Joe Flacco
Right.
is so fun.
And that's the issue. There were 8 quarterbacks in uniform today. Browns dressed 5, Carolina dressed 3. Carolina had Bryce Young and Andy Dalton and Jack and Plummer. Jake Plummer. Jake Plummer's kid.
The Jack
Is it
Plummer.
Jake the mini
really
snake?
Is Jake the Snake's kid?
He's got to be, isn't he?
I
don't know about. I don't know.
I don't
it
know.
should be.
I mean, there are other guys that have played.
He
in
was
this
wearing
league.
junior?
16.
Plummer.
He was
he a
wearing
junior?
16.
Let's see.
It's
I mean,
Jack Plummer.
Jack Plummer. Maybe it is
Louisville. Played
Hold
at
on.
Louisville. I would have liked to see him go to Arizona State if it was Jake the Snake's
Yeah, right.
son.
No relation.
No relation.
Wikipedia says not to be confused with Jake Plummer.
But he
Okay,
likes
my
16
point
and his
being-
last name's Plummer.
Right.
It feels like it's
He's leaning into it a little bit.
Yeah.
There were 8 quarterbacks in uniform today.
There were
throwing
9
passes.
total there.
9 because Deshaun was there as well.
Yeah.
8 throwing passes. By far, Joe Flacco had the best arm and threw the prettiest pass. By far.
Yeah.
And there's no second.
By the way, second would have been Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. Yes.
Which is also wild. I will say this. I have never, Bo, been around Bryce Young in person like that, at least that I can recall.
Tiny to answer.
Like, the fact that he is able to withstand the rigors of an SEC season at Alabama, now maybe he didn't get touched much there.
Yeah.
But the fact that if he's able to go and play a 17-game season and play well like he did at the end of last year, and he made some good throws against us today, it would literally boggle my mind.
It's pretty wild when you see him in person. He was so great at Alabama, won the Heisman, obviously. But it's pretty wild because CJ was in that draft. And CJ looks like an NFL quarterback. I mean, CJ Stroud's 6'3", 6'4". Like, he's a NFL size, got a lot of good weight in his lower body. Like, he can withstand hits. He's got all of it. Like, it's pretty wild that you have those two things standing next to each other and you went that way.
Well, I mean, a lot of people thought he's Steph
Why did
Curry.
why did we miss that outlier? He's an outlier amongst outliers.
Well, I think that's the word that was used. He is an outlier. Like, so there was a meeting before we even went over to where practice was, where their leadership crew came out of their locker room, our leadership crew came out of our locker room. They talked, hey, no fights, like, let's protect each other, but it's good work. Blah, blah,
A lot
blah.
of hugging. A lot of
hugging. Yeah, and Bryce Young was amongst them. If he had like a different face on his same body, it would be like he's the coach's
the equipment intern
son or something. Yeah. Like, he is without pads on. I mean, he is. I would just be worried about him, like with people like Myles Garrett running at. Like,
yeah, right.
It's nuts, but listen, the guy's a good player. You got to respect that. And that year, he was kind of like always going to be the first pick. You know what I mean? And it was Houston. The irony of it is Houston with Davis Mills hitting the guy who came and played with us, Jordan Akins, for not only a 4th and 20 out of nowhere touchdown, then a 2-point conversion. Like, Bryce Young would have been a Texan.
Yes.
John McClain, the general, has said it. Like, if they had the first pick, he was going to be a Texan.
Yeah.
Period. Wild. And that, to me, seems like that's probably a better environment for him. He feels to me like he's a guy that should be, not that the weather in Carolina is bad, but that's a dome quarterback. Absolutely.
There was a moment here, Bo, today, between periods where Bryce Young, Dylan Gabriel were standing there in the field to have a conversation. I know a lot of Browns fans have said plenty about Dylan Gabriel's size, right? But you put those two, and they were pretty much eye to eye, face to face. You put them next to each other.
Way bigger.
Dylan Gabriel's a lot thicker, right?
Way bigger.
Way sturdier.
I think taller too
than Bryce Young. Maybe he's taller than him as well.
Yeah,
but as much as people go, oh, how does Dylan Gabriel survive at that size? He's bigger than Bryce Young.
Oh yeah.
You guys were you were going through some of the practices, and we got derailed by this quarterback conversation. I thought it was important to have, but in terms of what you saw from our defense, this is where we have to make our hay, and it's going to start up front. What can you tell our fans, our audience, about what you guys saw defensively?
So, again, we were not as close to the defensive action, but what we did get to watch is our line against their line in one-on-ones and in other drills. And
not fair.
Our line dominated. I mean, Myles Garrett, he did a Euro step
on Ike Ekwonu.
That Ike Ekwonu audibly, he didn't touch him, did not make contact with him, and audibly went like, ugh, like groaned.
And Myles didn't even look like he was going full speed.
It was
honestly
nuts. Alex Wright, who we'll hear from, put a guy right on his butt. Mason Graham had a couple of good rushes. Okwara had some good rushes. Tryon Shoyinka had some good rushes. McGuire, Aiden Huntington. Aiden Huntington looked very good, and he's an interesting one. The Browns have always kind of had, like Sam Kamara, where is he an end? Is he a tackle? We don't know. And Aiden Huntington has kind of been that guy this year, and he looked good in those periods as well. And what I was told from people coming off on the Browns side was that they felt, and in special teams you saw it as well, the physicality of our training camp, like that we were way more physically prepared for this joint practice than they were.
Okay.
And that the physicality of our training camp has put us in a much better spot. All the players are happy about it. All of them. I haven't talked to one player who was like, man, I wish, we weren't tagged. They're like, we're so much better. It's so much better for us, so much better for our bodies. And they felt very good about that. So I thought from a physicality standpoint, we did good. Tony Brown had an interception that got everybody all fired up off of Andy Dalton. That was probably the big highlight. But listen, the Panthers are going to be able to score. They've got, and you talk about their skill, they've got good skill. They're going to be able to score the football this year.
Fracases. Tony Brown got into a little fracas.
Yeah, he did.
May or may not have thrown the football at a player.
KZ got in a little fracas. It got a little chippy
tried
over
to
there.
Decapitate a human.
Stunning, just stunning. Yeah.
You know,
sarcastically.
Look, they mentioned the defensive line. I got a chance to walk over and watch our O-line versus their D-line one-on-ones, like in position group work. We manhandled people.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned
Our
about the
offensive
backup.
line?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the backup tackle still.
But that's been an
But
issue.
the interior line, holy.
But also
the starters, everybody.
Hoff even said, he's like, I feel so much better about our backup tackles now because we were kind of getting down on them because our backup ends are so good that he said that he felt really good. And it was really cool to watch. So Joe has basically, he's coaching the O-line. He did it, at training camp Monday, and then continued, obviously, he's going to do it all week. And he's basically taken DeJuan under his wing, and he's all fired up. He's like, he's such a willing listener, and you could see his confidence grow as he was implementing some of the things we talked about. And DeJuan had a great day, and Joe was very, very proud of him. But he, and happy birthday, by the way, to DeJuan Jones today. Yeah, he was pleased that our O-line handled
They
them,
were
handled their
pretty
front.
impressive.
Now, by the way, we should, right?
They should, yeah.
The Carolina Panthers have had the second fewest sacks in the league each of the last 2 seasons. That's not what they're necessarily known for. Now, I know they've tried to address it in the draft this year to get more pressure on the quarterback, but this is we handled them well, very well, and that was encouraging.
That image that Hoff tweeted out of him next to DeJuan, like, you don't even if you haven't stood next to Joe, even though he's in incredible shape now and not in planing weight anymore, Joe is an enormous human, human, and DeJuan looked like he could eat him. I mean, he had him by looks like he had him by 3 inches or 4 and 100 and some. I mean, just massive. You just forget how. And there's that image from early in camp of him and Myles. Like, you just forget how big he is as a human.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I would also say this: there's a few other guys on that offensive line now that they've brought in that are very, very large humans.
Yeah. Cornelius Lucas, tall.
I was like, okay, a lot of height. Got a good basketball squad. Let's see what happens. But Jenkins played well. I think we're going to hear from Coach about this in the next segment.
Next,
I think the one concern he kind of dropped in his presser this morning that our pick last year from Michigan,
Zach Zinter.
Zach Zinter got hurt in the practice on Monday and didn't even make the trip here.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, okay, what's going on there? But the rest of the offensive line, interior, outside, Whippler looked good. Whippler pancaked the guy. It was you should feel really good about that spot.
Yeah.
Whippler's looked pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
Well, he's really good before the injury, too, so hopefully he can get back to that point. Those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, you'll hear from Coach, his press conference from this morning, some highlights, and what you can expect from that preseason game on Friday. We are off and running on a First Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly. More fun to your fandom with the Bally Bet Sportsbook app. Download today, get 50 back in bonus bets. You place that first wager of 10 or more. Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Before today's practice, Kevin Stefanski held his press conference. Let's start with the opening statement. Here is Coach and his plan for Friday.
On the game itself, we got game Friday night coming up. We'll rest some starters. Some players will play, obviously holding out some guys due to injury. As you know, and then we'll play Shador at quarterback. We just signed Snoop Huntley, as you guys saw. We'll get Snoop back up to speed quickly. He's been in a couple different offenses since we last saw him, so he's doing a great job of working at it. But it's a great opportunity for all of our young players in that football game.
All right, speaking of Snoop Huntley, here is Kevin on getting Huntley up to speed to play on Friday.
We're going to work through it, Tony. I mean, Snoop just got here yesterday, so I just want to see how he's doing with the terminology and all those type of things.
Is there any chance that anybody other than those two
No.
play?
Yeah, at quarterback?
At quarterback?
No.
All right, and to that end, here's why Dylan Gabriel won't play in preseason game number 1.
Just being very careful with him. Don't want to expose him to any unnecessary, strain, if you will.
All right, here are, if any, coaches' concerns about putting in Shedeur with the second-team offensive line versus a first-team defensive line from Carolina.
I think it's just preseason ball, Mary Kay, where you may have some ones going against twos going against ones. You could have there's different guys in there at different times. But I think both sides, particularly in that first game, it's all about playing fast. So you typically don't see a ton of looks that are unusual per se. So if you stick to your rules and you stick to what you've been taught over the last few weeks, you should be able to operate and function well.
And finally, here is Coach with his expectations for Shedeur on Friday night.
Yeah, my expectations for Shedeur are no different than the rest of the guys, honestly, Mary Kay. We expect them to go operate. It's when you get in these preseason games, you try to keep it very simple so that guys can play fast. All concepts that our players know and can kind of not think too much and just play ball.
We talked about this. We touched on this a little bit yesterday, Z, and Andrew, I know you were here in studio as we were discussing it. There's just a wide array of thought on what to do with these preseason games. And the reality is that, for Kevin, he views the more important work to be the joint practice that happened that you guys just witnessed. But for Canales, he's going to put his ones out there, and we heard from Joe Burrow. He wants to play a lot in the preseason, and so Jamar Chase is going to play a lot in the preseason, and T. Higgins is going to play a lot in the preseason. So it's just on this specific issue, this league is not on the same page at all, and I think you're going to see it on Friday night when their ones are there for a couple of series against our 2s and 3s.
And it's one of the interesting things about how it's unfolding all over the place. We were talking earlier that Tennessee, Brian Callahan said that Cam Ward's going to play significantly in all 3 preseason games.
Yeah,
all the starters.
All the starters.
I don't get.
To me, the risk, the risk reward is a very delicate balance, and you can't win any games at that point. But I understand, wanting to hit the ground running and have everything rolling the way that it is.
I do as well.
It's a dicey proposition. It really is.
Here's my issue: is that the regular season, is longer than it has ever been. So I don't mind playing your starters in a preseason game. I certainly encourage playing your rookies in as many snaps and as many competitive opportunities as you can in the month of August to get them ready. But if you are a team that has an eye on playing in January, and maybe the Tennessee Titans know that is not their likely future, I don't do it. I have to consider, and we're going to get to 18 games in a few years as well. And we'll have a shorter preseason when that does happen. Will be. We're not going to have a 3-game preseason. We might only have a 1-game preseason at that point, and that has to be collectively bargained. But I think the length of the season these days, and just like the games, I'm excited for Friday in Shedeur.
Totally.
I don't mind that the Browns starters are not playing. I'm fine with that.
So am I. I mean, again. We saw them get good work today, and the guys that you wanted to see look good, certainly from an offensive standpoint, did. So, yeah, the joint practice is they reduce the need for that. Now, that 3rd week at home against the Rams, especially you're opening the season at our stadium, I think it would be good for the starters to go through the normal pregame warm-up, go through, play a series or 2, and then that's fine.
Sean McVay won't play anybody in that game.
No. He won't. That's how
that will be a Stetson Bennett game. I guarantee you right now he will play that'll be a Stetson Bennett and Dresser Wynn game.
Yeah.
Dresser Wynn might actually play the whole game.
I mean, this articulates the point. We just kind of articulated the issue, though.
Yeah.
That there's a wide This league is groupthink happens, but in this issue it just hasn't. And I don't know what the right path is. I mean, I understand why Cincinnati's doing what they're doing. I get it. You got off to a slow start last year, and you could argue that loss to New England cost you a chance at the playoffs. That or one other game did. Now, does it necessarily mean? Wait on, hold on just a second. I mean, it's oh my God, this is. I mean, what a look!
Paint
President
the picture,
swag. I mean,
turn the camera around.
It's all business. It's all business today. It's all business. There was a button up as we reached the top of the stairs. It's a dark suit and a white shirt. It's gorgeous, just gorgeous.
So different than yesterday's Monaco vibe.
Yesterday he was in Monaco.
Yeah,
I mean, he was
serious.
ready for the Grand Prix. I mean, that was a totally different setup. But yeah, I mean, so I guess there is the thing about it is you have to be honest to what you believe in if you are coaching one of these teams. And the thing going on in Cincinnati, to me, it's like there's no proof that this is going to change anything about how you start. There's no way of knowing if it is or isn't. That Burrow did or did not play in the preseason, and that's why they've started slow the last few years. They're basically like, hey, this hasn't worked. Let's try something new. And now they're putting a guy who's missed parts of 2 seasons, big parts of 2 seasons, in harm's way more than normal.
Do you wonder who's in charge there? I know Zach's the head coach. I like Zach. But
I think Joe Burrow's in charge there.
This feels to me like Joe Burrow saying, and he said it on the podium, and maybe he said it on the podium, although I don't know this for a fact, before he told Zach Taylor, because he was just probably asked the question, I want to play. And Zach Taylor now is going to go, okay, you can play. Because if he says, no, I'm not going to play, then, or I'm not going to play you guys, then it becomes something bigger.
Yeah, it could be. So this, for our game, what was your feeling on what Canales had to say about, did I hear this right, 12 reps for his ones?
8 to 12 plays. Yeah. 8 to 12. 1 to 2 series. 8 to 12 plays is what he's hoping for.
So with that being the case,
this defense, that could be 4 series.
Right. Right. What is a realistic view of what Shedeur can do in his time?
I don't know.
That's a great question.
It's a great question.
I don't know how we're going to kind of call it on offense. What are we trying to get out of it? How many things are we pulling out for him? Who's he playing? Who's he throwing the ball to? Like, will he have Deontay Johnson out there? Will he have Jamari Thrash out there? Obviously, Luke Floria and Gage Larvidan, they'll be out there. Will Harold Fannin be out there?
Because he's Dylan Sampson be in the backfield.
What we're going to do. Right. So I don't know. I think what you want to see him do is, and I'm going to sound like Stefanski at first, but then I'm going to say beyond that, operate it effectively, get in and out of the huddle, get the play calls in, things that he did not have to do in college, because you're not going to be able to do the other stuff that's the fun stuff in the NFL if you can't do that. So do that first and foremost. And then second of all, I want to see him make plays. I want to see him stand in the pocket and rip the ball in the intermediate game. That, to me, is the biggest question with him, because there are times where he has a tendency to throw the ball fading back even when there isn't pressure there. Then that is going to reduce your velocity. So I want to see him in there be able to rip the ball in the intermediate, some of those tight window throws, especially to the middle of the field.
We don't know who's calling it either.
No.
Is Kevin calling plays? I mean, sometimes you hand those duties off in the preseason. We know that John Idzik, or Brad Idzik, I beg your pardon, the son of John, he's going to be calling the offensive plays for Carolina. Jonathan Cooley, the DB coach, is going to be calling the defense for Carolina. I have no idea who's calling the Browns.
No, the Browns are usually they'll let a lot of people be involved in that, but it's usually kept pretty close to the vest.
Yeah.
Who does it, when they do it.
I also haven't asked, so
yeah.
I'm just saying,
Even if we did, I'm not sure we would necessarily get an answer.
Let me, you guys, we didn't get to this in the first segment, but I'm going to hit you with a couple of our rookies. You tell me what you saw, if anything, today. Mason Graham, what did you see, if anything, from him today?
He was runner with the ones. I thought he looked good in the one-on-one drills. Candidly, Nathan and I were standing over with the offense the entire day. I didn't see much of the defense. Gibby, Mason Graham, your thoughts? Anything stand out?
Just like a lot of the defensive line. I mean, I wasn't sure what to expect when he said he came to camp and he was down to like 290. I think
292.
And I was like, I don't think I want my defensive tackle losing weight prior to training camp, but okay. He's moving fast. I mean, he's very, very quick. I think he's got a really nice first step, and I think he and Malik Collins, because I don't want to shortchange that other side of it from the defensive tackle side. Those two are really opening things up for a guy that we're going to hear from in a little bit, Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire, Troyan Shayanka, and, of course, Miles. I just think defensive
Just wait till we get Mike Hall back in the mix.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not concerned a whole lot about anybody on that defensive line. And I think Graham, he had a couple rookie moments. I think he and Schlesinger both just need to be careful on overplaying.
That was the next one I was going to ask you, Gibby, is Schlesinger, because obviously, you get used to going against our guys and our scheme and all of that, but now, and he's been great, what does it look like going against an opposition?
Yeah, I think he just, at times he just needs to slow down a little bit. I mean, he's around the play no matter what.
Yeah.
Like at the end when they're unpiling, he's always there. So I mean, he knows where he needs to be. I think it just letting the play come to him. I think the whole linebacker core, the only concern, running game, I think they're okay. The passing game, I think that there's some work to be done. I think Jason Tarver would probably tell you that from a coverage standpoint.
Yeah, and to be fair, obviously, in the pass coverage, just in general, you didn't have MJ Emerson out there. You also, Greg Newsome didn't participate in the team drills, even though he could have. They're being, judicious with that. So you're starting corners 4 and 5 alongside Denzel Ward. So
but MJ's not going to be there.
Well,
No,
MJ's not, but
yeah.
Greg Newsome is, and Greg Newsome makes a difference compared to what else was out there.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, and that's again. You see some stuff and you're like, okay, maybe there's something wrong, but maybe there's not.
Yeah.
So it's a joint practice. I think you get a better idea after Friday night and then next week.
What did you guys see from Harold Fenton Jr. on your end?
He's out there a lot, moving around a lot. He had a couple short crossers that he caught, but he is involved with the starters significantly so.
We have yet to see him in camp with a big explosive, but that's not what he's running.
Well, he
not
had one
running
on
downfield routes.
the tight end screen.
Right.
In the live period.
That was one that he was able to make something out of a short pass and weave through traffic, and it was great. I'm saying we haven't seen him with a downfield shot.
Okay.
We haven't seen Harold Fenton down the seam for 25 yet.
No, correct. Correct.
All right, coming up next, Z goes one-on-one with Alex Wright. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly. Hey, Browns fans, under the Dog Dash Sweepstakes presented by Milkbone for a chance to have your pup compete in the annual dog races during halftime of the Browns versus Dolphins game on October 19th. Grand prize includes 2 season tickets for the 2026 season and Milkbone for a year. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/milkbone to enter. And now here is Dr. Z one-on-one with Alex Wright.
Very happy to be joined now by Browns.
Yes, down.
Alex Wright. And Alex, how did it feel to get out here, go against somebody else today at this joint practice?
I feel like we got a different look than going against each other in practice always. So it's always, I feel like it just kept us honest and working our craft. We're not going against the same people all the time. So being able to just get a different feel of different O-linemen and different sets and different hands and stuff like that. So it felt good to just pretty much sharpen your arsenal, what you do have. So, I mean, it felt good, different. You hearing different things. You hearing different cadences. You hearing different cadences with the quarterback, turbo snaps and stuff like that. Just pretty much. So we're not used to just hearing Joe or Dylan or Shador or Kenny and stuff like that. Just you hear it from a different voice and a different type of scheme. So I mean, it just keeps you honest and it just keeps you working. So.
Well, couldn't help but notice you also put some people on their butts today. That probably had to feel good. And, this has been look good. That's Jacques Cesar's defensive line coach who was very pleased with what he saw. You guys have had a physical camp. This is the most physical camp from a Brown standpoint that you've been a part of. And it felt like today you could see the fruits of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we preach dominance. We preach. What are you doing, bro? we preach dominance. We preach as not only as a D-line but as a whole defense. Just being a badass defense, not only from the D-line but from everybody else as a whole standpoint. We all work together. We all mesh together, and if we mesh together, then good things will happen. So, I mean, just being as physical, shoot, it's a game of football. This is nothing new. I mean. Yes, it has been different from the time from when I first came to Cleveland to now. This has been the most physical, but I don't complain. I feel like this is what we needed because I feel like the more physicality there is, the more prepared body-wise we'll be going into the season due to injuries and stuff like that. So I mean, it's been a good preparation for us. But it also has been a good mindset. That's just we just got to beat it into our heads that we're a good defense. They got us ranked 7, but we could go higher than that. So just preaching it to the choir every day in meetings and stuff like that, and just holding each other accountable because we want everybody to be our best, and we don't want nobody to settle. Whether that's just simple stuff like running to the ball or just hands, whether that's stuff like hand-eye coordination with drills and stuff like that. Just taking it serious. Yeah. So I mean. That's pretty much it, for real.
How big of a season is this for you? Obviously, last year, go back to Jacksonville, you make that huge play, and then unfortunately you're battling injuries, and then your season was cut short. Here you are, a veteran now, right? Big year for you. You look great. You can tell you're feeling good. What's kind of your mindset going in this season, and what did you learn from the adversity of last year?
I mean, it's all just about how you prepare yourself and just staying positive. I mean, just when I got hurt last year, it just did something mentally to me to the point where, I had to, just sit down with family, sit down with God, sit down with myself, and you just say, what are you going to do to make yourself jump to the next level? I don't want to be just the guy, well, he's came back, he's fine. I wouldn't be the guy to come and say, it looked like he hasn't missed a step since he came back. Or it looked like he looks even better than when he came back. What was he doing? I want people to, ask questions. What was he doing while he was hurt? What was he doing while he was taking the time off? Was he building his body right? What was he training? What did he do? Because he looks different. Yeah. And when I say different, I mean different as in a great way, not a good way, not a great way, but more of an elite way. Just trying to perfect my craft and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, man, what you want? You always hating, bro. Go inside, bro. Okay.
That was Malik Collins.
No, Malik, that's how he.
Malik Collins giving some props to Alex Wright, our guest here. But yeah, and listen. It's an exciting time for you. This is a year where you want not only to prove, I'm sure, to yourself, but to everybody else that we've seen you go on those streaks where you have a sack in 5 straight games, making the big plays as you have.
Yeah, the craziest part is I don't really try to streak it up as much but it's always like that little ear, the devil and the angels, like, yeah, count up another sack. You gotta get another sack this game. You gotta get another sack this game. But it's not, no, man. I'm just going to have fun. Yeah. And that's where I sat down and talked with some players and stuff like that. And it's like the more you think about it, it's like the more you stress about it. And like the more you stress about it, it's more it's like now you're trying to make plays and now you're not trying to make the more you try to make plays, it's like it's not gonna happen. So it's like right now I'm taking initiative to just relax, have fun, work on my repertoire, work on my arsenal, just get better every day. Like MG said, it's 2 weeks in the training camp. Like it's gonna look a little sloppy. It's gonna look not as polished, but that's the foundation of it. That's the best part of it, because once the season is up and running, I feel like I'll hit that full potential. So it's not just not really worried about the whole season. I'm just glad I'm glad to be back. I'm glad my arm is better. I'm glad everything else is better. It's just about just having fun and just relaxing and just playing to my feelings and just trusting myself, and and I trust in God and myself that good things happen. As long as I trust in myself and I know that I can make plays instead of just thinking I can make this play. No, that's fine. I'll make the play if I do the right things. And when I do the right things, that's just breathe. Like that's the main thing I say before I play. Just breathe, relax, breathe.
And let it come. Let the gifts you've got take over. And you're in a room where, with Miles and yourself and Isaiah and Joe now and Julian and Cam, where in a game you're gonna be in, you're gonna be out, you're gonna be fresh. When you're out there, you're gonna be fresh. Do you kind of like that, knowing that you guys have such a good group and you can be inside, you can be outside? There can be 4 of you on the field. There can be 3 of you on the field. You guys can attack.
I'd say the more versatile, the better.
Yep.
The more versatile, the better. I mean, that's something that I've been preached to since college. Even though I hated it at first, but that's what my coach was saying. He was like, he was pretty much like, if you want to reach the next level, this is what you have to be. You have to be fresh. You have to be, just like you said, fresh and versatile. I'm like, I don't know about 3-tech. He was like, Alex, shut up and get a 3-tech. I'm like, okay. So once I did it, it was like, okay, I could do this. This is
run around those guards.
This is way easier than I thought. So I mean, it was just, it was so much of a just having those guys and the experience from those guys, and just keeping everybody fresh, and you keeping the old linemen just honest. Okay. And just coming in and just trying to take advantage of them being fatigued. So I mean, it's a good thing. It's a great thing actually. But I'm just looking forward to seeing those guys ball and myself ball. So other than that, we have a good lineup. I feel like this is one of the best lineups we had in a while. So we just put it all online in practice, and then when the game time comes, it'll all unfold for everybody to see. So.
How excited are you for Friday, just to get back there? And I know it's preseason, it's not a regular season game, but just to get back there and play a football game again.
I get goosebumps. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, at times, I try to relax myself, but I think I caught a little bit of PTSD last year. Yeah. I'm going against the team. I got hurt last year. And then, you try to block out that noise because it's like it's a new year. I put in the work. Yeah. I had to snap myself back to reality, like I'm back now. So once I said I was back, that's when, I just took off and just started having fun. So, I mean, I'll probably get goosebumps, but it's not like an environment that I haven't played in. I played in Carolina before. That was my first regular season game as a rookie. So I know the vibe of a preseason game, not only just a regular game, but a preseason game. I know how it feels to be on their turf. I know how it feels to move around and stuff like that. It's nothing new. So, I mean, I'm just happy just to fly around and just be available and, and just to wreak havoc. So.
Well, we're excited you're back, Alex. Best of luck to you. Have fun out there, and looking forward to a big season for you here in 2025.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, great stuff there with Z and Alex. Coming up next, Myles Garrett from the podium. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. It's presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Down is on. Browns football will be here before you know it. Lock in your spot now as a Browns season ticket member and score the lowest prices with no deposit needed. Buy online. Check out your view for every epic matchup of the 2025 home slate. Visit browns.com/tickets now. Now, let's head to the podium. Presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. It is Myles Garrett.
I feel like it was
You're done.
Overall a good day. Just kind of, I mean, I feel like you got to accomplish what you hope to accomplish.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it wasn't perfect as far as, it being clean, but the guys getting after it, competing, stepping up to the challenge. It's the first time getting in front of another team. I like where our heads were at. I like how well we handled the intensity and tried to raise it to our own. And it was a good step forward in trying to create a standard.
You almost expect things not to be clean and crisp and precise that first time out.
Not yet. I mean, there's so many different, groups that we have, 1, 2, 3s, and cycling through that. Sometimes you're playing with guys you haven't had a lot of reps with, and so you're not expecting them to be there. The communication is not exactly where it needs to be with a guy you're getting 3 or 4 reps with. So you want it to be clean, you want it to be smooth and perfect, but you got to get more reps.
Myles, occasionally I have seen Shador kind of hanging out with you a little bit between reps on the field, maybe picking your brains a little bit or whatever. Just wondering what your thoughts are on Shador, kind of how he's conducted himself this camp, and then now he's getting the start on Friday night. What are your thoughts?
I mean, he's funny, he's optimistic, he's lighthearted, but he works hard. He takes it seriously, his craft, and he's watching what the others are doing, and doing it his own way in which only he can. So, looking forward to see him during these preseason games and how he manages the offense. But I think he looks good, but all the guys look good right now.
And does that show initiative on his part that, and maybe you guys aren't talking like real technical football during those little powwows, but is he picking your brains on certain things, like what to expect when you're...
For sure. Not always, when you see him, he's picking my brain, but he's definitely coming to me a couple times to see what I'm thinking. I'm going through my rush or what the defense's mentality is.
Myles, from one number one pick to another, what do you think about your work against Bryce Young today?
I think he looks a lot more comfortable, than the first time he suited up. I think they've really rallied around him, and seeing that he can lead this team and do well. The playmaking and game changing ability hasn't changed, and I think it's just him finding his own confidence, being comfortable in the role, and them allowing him to lead and standing behind him. And I think that was big for him, and he's only going to continue to settle in and become a bigger and bigger playmaker.
Can that help a young player? I know they sat him for a little bit and let Andy start for him, but can that help a younger player sometimes to kind of step back and kind of reset and kind of see?
I think in most cases for quarterbacks that's imperative, to allow them to get some perspective. Take a step back, not be expected to change a franchise or a team overnight. Allow yourself to be guided by some of the people who came before you who have seen the game, who have game experience, and you can really learn from. And then once you're ready to take that role, let it happen gradually instead of suddenly, and be thrust into a position where it's make or break.
You guys are trying to change this franchise. You're only 3 weeks in. What do you see? What's your feeling on how things are going?
I like how the standard has continued to increase, every single day. Guys are really showing an attention to detail and a discipline that I don't feel was there all the time last year. And it's a heightened awareness, heightened urgency right now, and don't want to continue to see that through the rest of the year.
Myles, how did you guys establish that? A lot of guys have talked about the beat-up mindset. Were there conversations you guys had to establish that?
I feel like it was an effort all around, from coaches to players. It's got to be everyone in the building, from Haslam down to the last guy on the roster. Everyone's got to have the same mindset of what we expect from every single one of us walking into that building. And I think it's got to continue to be pushed by the leaders of the team who have been expected to rise up to that role. And I think a lot of guys have stepped into it and made the most of it.
Myles, how can
trip and next week's trip kind of help with camaraderie or team building? Is it good to get away and do these kinds of things?
Sure, it can be good, as long as you come into it with the right mindset, trying to get something out of it, not looking at it as an escape or a vacation. You've got to look at it as a way to get better. You're going to compete against some of the very best in the position across the league. So take it as a challenge. Use these different looks, these different players as a way to grow as a player and a teammate, as a leader, and just look forward to working with your brother. Take it with a smile on your face and continue to attack the role every time.
You sometimes wish you could sack this Flacco guy without plugging one day. Sometimes wish you could sack this Flacco guy in practice without plugging one day.
Man, there was a play when he was on the Jets where I had him dead to rights and I got snagged down by the back of my shoulder pads, and it was fourth quarter. They were making their comeback, and I'd have ended the game. And I'll never forget that, looking at his face every time we sit close to each other in team meeting. But I've done buried the hatchet, and glad to see him with us. Still the good guys.
How's it going with you kind of helping DeJuan get ready for whatever he's going to face this season?
Continue to build his confidence. I know it can be difficult sometimes if I make a play or if I beat him, but just trying to coach him through some things that I see or what I'm doing, and continue to improve his technique and his fundamentals. And I think the main thing for him is confidence and being on the left side. Making sure that he knows he's capable of winning on that side and dominating on that side. It's just a matter of switching those fundamentals a little bit, and sticking with it. Sometimes I think he gets in his head a little bit, but I know he has the ability to go out there and dominate on the left side or the right side, whatever he's called to do.
Miles, as a defensive line, where have you guys seen your unit grow the most? Just getting best acclimated, really just the time that you guys have spent together these weeks.
Where I've seen us grow the most?
Yes.
I would say maturity. Just stepping up. A lot of guys were young. I mean, obviously you're younger last year, but I don't feel like they knew they had a voice. And leadership comes at any year. Whether you're year 1, year 9, you step up to the role and you're able to lead by your actions and by your words. I feel like guys don't understand that. Year 1 you lead by example, by setting that example every single day. Carson going out there and getting extra reps, and when we're running skills and bigs, he's up there with the top 3 fastest guys, and that's how he leads with example and not necessarily with his voice. And I continue to see him do that, and that's how he grows in that role. And I've seen some of the linemen do that as well, especially the young guys.
All right, there you go. Miles from the podium, presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today. For the ultimate game day, we will head back to Carolina and rejoin the guys. We'll go around the league coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And your Browns into London this October. You can be part of the action through the Browns Takeovers powered by TrueFan Travel. If you head to thebrowns.com/takeovers to book today, you'll receive a 5-night hotel stay, a double-decker bus tour of London, a welcome party on the Thames, opportunity to hang out with Browns legends like Josh Cribbs and Joe Hayden, and an all-inclusive pregame tailgate and tickets to the game. Visit browns.com/takeovers to learn more, and we will see you across the pond. Mr. Siciliano, I know you've seen Hard Knocks because you're hosting the accompanying podcast that goes with it. Gibbe and Z, did you partake last night?
Of the Hard Knocks?
Of the Hard Knocks.
We did not partake. We did partake in a delicious meal.
A fantastic meal.
The custom shop in Charlotte.
Joe Thomas ordered the whole menu.
Yes, he did. He's like, I think
well, what was the best thing you had on the menu since he ordered the whole menu?
That duck breast was fantastic.
Yeah, and then that pastry, the puff pastry filled with
accompanying the duck breast.
Confit was,
that was very good.
The hamachi
the
with
hamachi
the corn
crudo,
on it.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was the blue crab.
Gibby,
you're shaking
was
your
Gibby
head.
there? Was Gibby there?
No, I had a brisket Philly at a bar with a couple wings and a few beers.
He was working hard for you.
We were
he was setting up this booth.
Yeah, we were setting up here till like 8 o'clock.
I hope we can go out Thursday after the coaches show, Gibby.
I'm fine with that.
It was the night before the game and all through the house.
Here's what this is the reason. So I did watch.
Okay.
I'm glad that we
nice.
talked about it yesterday because I had forgot that it was starting. For some reason, I haven't seen much about it this year like I have in previous years. So I had forgot that it was starting. I think that it is as positively as I have ever gotten a window into a super duper star athlete like Josh Allen. I think, I mean, in terms of someone who is an MVP caliber, married to a Hollywood starlet like everything, the way he goes about his business, the way he carries himself, the way he interacts with his teammates, the fans, the coaches, ownership, all of it, it is superstar central casting. It truly is. And I think because it's funny, like, you know, we're talking about our quarterback competition, and in Columbus, I'm talking about the quarterback competition down there. We're always in this constant pursuit of quarterback. And as I'm watching this thing last night, you start to realize, and I know you guys know this story, but like I don't know how much of our audience really does. This is a guy who did not have a single Division I scholarship offer out of high school, not FBS or FCS, not one. In fact, the only reason he ended up at Reedley College, a junior college, is because there was a relative on their staff through marriage to someone who was related to him. And then after he played there, he sent letters, a mass email to every Division I school in the country. 2 offered him a scholarship, Eastern Michigan and Wyoming. Eastern Michigan pulled the scholarship on Josh Allen. And the only reason he ended up at Wyoming is because Craig Bohl, who was at North Dakota State, had an assistant named Brent Vigen, who's now the head coach at Montana State. And Vigen thought he reminded him of Carson Wentz. And that's how he ended up at Wyoming. Nowadays, if he has that junior season at Wyoming, he would have got $5 million to go be the quarterback at Texas. He didn't, and so he stayed there, and the rest is history. But in terms of just a well-adjusted, like everything you'd want in a franchise quarterback, super-duper star, every box, Andrew. He was so positively – I just was so impressed by him. I'd just never seen that window into him before, and it was really cool. Really cool how he handled his business.
Have you ever interviewed him or hung with him at all?
No, none, zero.
The most normal dude ever.
Well, when you watch this, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, and he's, as we said yesterday, he's perfect for Western New York, perfect for that fan base. I like to play the game, and I'm not trying to redraft 2018, but let's do it. This isn't all about the Browns. Josh Allen went 7. Buffalo traded up to get him at 7.
Yep.
The sliding doors of NFL history. If you put Josh Allen in any of the previous 6 picks, so obviously the Browns took Baker. At 2 is Sam Darnold, right? Like what? Or no, I'm sorry, Saquon.
No, Sam
was 2.
wasn't 2. Saquon was 2.
Saquon was 2. So if the Giants take Josh Allen, different trajectory for that franchise, right? If the Jets take Josh Allen, different trajectory. Obviously, the Browns took Denzel at 4. We're all happy with that pick, but they had another swing at it. At 5, Quentin Nelson, who could be in the Hall of Fame one day. But if Quentin Nelson had not been the pick and Josh Allen had been the pick in Indianapolis, that franchise obviously looks a heck of a lot different. I'm sorry.
Did you do Denver? Denver.
5 was Denver. I'm sorry. 5 was
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb, who's a good player, couldn't stay healthy. They actually flipped him for a 1 from Miami.
Yep.
But they would have found their quarterback. At 6, Indianapolis, they would have found their quarterback. He fell to 7. Buffalo got the guy, and he's a keeper. There's also a part of this as well. Josh now is a 3 in front of his age, or he's about to. He's on his second massive extension. There's overall pressure for this team and this franchise to win right now. There is still plenty of window with Josh Allen, but when it comes to James Cook and a lot of these other guys, the bill is going to come due for some of these younger players soon. They kind of got to go now and win.
Oh, yeah. They have the most. Them and the Ravens have the most.
The
pressure.
Ravens, yes. So Mad Dog Russo hated last night's Hard Knocks.
It was a good episode. Hey, full disclosure, I have not seen it with Liev Schreiber's narration. I saw a rough cut without the script put into it. So I don't know all of that.
I don't know what was his beef. Did you listen what his beef was?
Here, hold on.
I mean, I love the doggy, but I just wonder what his beef is.
I mean, the outrage factor is always going to be outraged.
I just don't know how you could walk away from it and just not be wildly, overwhelmingly impressed with Josh Allen. I really don't.
Were people upset that Deion Dawkins put his daughter in the front seat when they were drifting?
I was curious about that when he did that because I was like, God, my wife would be. I would be on the couch for a month if I did that.
Some of those were amazing shots as well. They found out the night before, like late the night before, that Deion was going to go do that and they could go shoot it. They put a GoPro on the hood of the car.
Saw that, yeah.
They got a drone up in the air, and they got some ridiculous shots with almost no prep.
All right, so this is what he was upset about. He said, "You can't do an hour on the Buffalo Bills in Rochester and about Buffalo, the Buffalo Mafia, and everything else. You have Williams, a quarterback there, the coach there, you got the GM there, and not get into last year's 4th and 1 against the Chiefs, okay? The nation has not seen the Buffalo Bills since that play January 25th at Arrowhead when they lost the Chiefs. Not the first, the second, the third, for the 4th time in the playoffs. This is the AFC Championship game. Dalton Kincaid also had a huge drop in this game. 4th down. Remember that? Didn't see that. Here's the play. He dropped the pass. We didn't get any indication there. So you got HBO. This is the first show of the episode. I don't want to see it late August. I want to see it now. This is the first time I get to look at the Bills this year. I get to see somebody. McDermott, Josh Allen. What happened on the 4th and 1 sneak? Do you not sleep for 2 weeks? Dalton Kincaid, you dropped that pass. That's lousy TV. I'm a sports fan. You want me to watch the Bills on August 5th? You got to at least close what happened last year. A horrific job, and I'm not the only person who thinks this. Ask a tough question on 4th and 1.
So he thinks it should be like a press conference? He thought they should have to answer for their transgressions, or they should have told the story about it?
No, that they should have told the story about the 4th and 1 and communicated how that pain and what happened on all of it and how that
that's a
has
choice.
Tied into their preparations for this year.
It's a 5-week show.
I would also say, too, though, that it's a show that is on HBO, and it's a show that all of us are going to watch, but what they're hoping for is that my wife watches too. And so they don't need to be in the minutia of all of that, would be from a production angle how I would view that, is that trying to make the most openly appealing show to wide masses as they can. And I thought they did that with what I saw last night.
And it's about the access. It's also about this training camp. And yes, to his point, you got to tell the story of the fact that this team has won 5 consecutive AFC East titles, and for those 5 years, they couldn't get by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I guarantee you, I don't know. I'm sure that will be a storyline and a thread throughout, but I also want to know about Tre'Davious White, who is so bleeping happy to be back in Buffalo.
They did address that, though, Andrew. They did talk about the play at the. I mean, they showed and they talked Allen talking about it, and Schreiber did a narration of it.
Okay,
of the play.
I saw a very rough cut.
Yeah, they
so
talk
I did
about
not
it.
see the.
I mean, it's not like the total narrative to start it. Like, hey, they failed. This is them after a summer dealing with it, or an off season dealing with it. But they definitely reference it. It's not like they ignored it.
Yeah. I thought the opening scene, assuming it stayed in, of everyone packing and like the conversation between Dalton Kincaid and his wife Alex, like she goes, "Oh my God, you're going to go for 2 weeks in a carry-on bag?"
Yeah.
Yes. Or bringing your own toilet paper. We've all been there in a dorm before. You bring your own toilet paper. Or KJ Hamler with a pregnancy pillow.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah,
like,
it was good. It was good. Yeah, Allen's a
like
star.
Hard Knocks.
Allen's,
of course, he is.
Jeez. Some of those guys come across though, like can come across in a certain way, and he didn't come across as anything other than overwhelmingly positive.
He seems great in every regard, and I think it is one of those things where with Josh Allen, because you were saying, if anybody else drafted him, it changes the course of their franchise, and perhaps that is true. He really benefited from something that unfortunately not a lot of young quarterbacks get: stability. Stability in the offensive system, because Josh Allen was not great right out of the gate.
No, they've gone through a bunch of OCs, but they've had the same head coach.
But he had didn't he have
Dable out of
didn't
the
he have
gates.
Dable for a while, though? I'm saying at the beginning of his
Correct.
career, when he went from being, let's not forget, his rookie year, he's a 52% passer. Then he's a 58%
That was the whole thing.
passer,
He wasn't accurate.
And then he goes up to 69%, and really from 20 it takes off. But there are a lot of guys that would have had, after that first year, he goes 5 and 6, 10 touchdowns, 12 picks. Like, that was his rookie year. That wasn't a great season.
What we
But
don't
a lot
know,
of
though,
people that would get people turned out. I think he benefited, and you give him all the credit in the world that he worked and turned what were clear deficiencies into strengths, and now he's, on the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks in the National Football League today.
There's no way of knowing, if he's someone who is so talented that he could have overcome anything. We just, don't know that. I mean, it's. He's in a great spot. Circumstances absolutely matter. His physicality, though, was something that plays kind of no matter what.
If he was with us, though, and he has a different OC each of his first 4 years in the league like Baker did, that's
It's tough.
That's hard. That is very, very hard.
There was, when he was coming out, if you guys remember, I know you do.
A friend of Dorsey?
The accuracy issue was such a concern.
Yeah.
League-wide. He had the hose, but I remember at the Senior Bowl, there was a ball where in Thursday's practice, he's rolling out to the right, and before he went out of bounds, he fired a seed 20 yards down the sideline, right on the boundary, into a sea of hands, and he hit the hands of this wide receiver falling out of bounds, who didn't hang on, but it was one of those like, oh my God, did you just see that throw? And I remember talking to a scout after practice down on the field for a team that shall remain nameless, who said, you can't do that in the NFL, though. You can't do that. That's a dangerous pass. Like, he can't get away with that. That's not going to work in the NFL. Like, guess what? His arm is that strong.
Yeah.
He can do that.
Yeah.
He can.
He also, I think, and just kind of put the bow on this, but if you think about now how it is, if let's say that you are that rookie quarterback, and we've seen quarterbacks not even be close to this bad, that you might not get those opportunities. You know what I mean? After that first season that he struggled that way. Now he comes back second season, it's definitely a little bit better, but he just benefited from patience, the belief in his talent, the fact that they kept him with Dable, because Dable doesn't leave till what, 21?
He's in his third year in New York.
This is his third season?
Right.
So then he was with Dable for 5 seasons?
Yeah, good chunk.
19, 20, 21, 4.
4 seasons,
and
then it's Dable's 4th season, right?
Yeah.
Because then it was Dorsey and their number one offense. Dorsey, then he's gone in the middle of 23, and they have the new coordinator last year. But he really benefited from that.
No doubt.
That's one of the very interesting things in all of this, that it's the talent, it's about the situation that you're in, it's about the stability around you and the ability that the patience, right, that he had to work on his deficiencies. You talked about the accuracy thing. It's because nobody who had ever had a profile like him ever became as accurate as he has become in the NFL. That has never happened before, and I give him all the credit in the world.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's what offensive coordinators and evaluators and quarterback coaches have. And you get a different answer when you ask different people. Because I've asked this question over the years to plenty of people. Can you teach accuracy? Can you fix mechanics and teach accuracy? And what I always get is maybe. Like, you can do it in practice, right? I could sit there with you in Orange County in the offseason and work on your mechanics and remind you to do this and this and this and this and this. But when you get out to a live game situation, do you revert to the way you have always played,
right,
and then you cannot recreate all those off-season mechanical fixes that you thought you had down? Well, with him, they figured it out.
Yep.
Well, and in the meantime, you could rely on his athleticism and size and running ability to get you through it. So he had that part too. So like the worst case scenario, he was going to be 80% of Cam Newton or 70% of Cam Newton minus, even from that standpoint, if he stayed a 60% passer, he still had that part of it, a shorter career where he had this ability to be a threat on the ground too. So it's
wild
impressive.
though. It's wild though, to your point, like, There is desperation in Baltimore. There is desperation in Buffalo. There's desperation, I would imagine, in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. And the likelihood is that, and obviously the Chiefs want to keep it rolling, there are other teams that are candidates, but it probably feels like right now, if you said today, if you could have those four versus the field in the AFC, that the representative of the AFC in the Super Bowl come from those four teams, you'd feel pretty good. Sure, it's going to come from those teams. It's possible none of them get there, but certainly both Lamar and Josh Allen can't be there. And if Mahomes goes again, they're another year. I mean,
I just can't imagine. I think Baltimore's the most. I think Baltimore's
the most desperate.
Yes, I think it's the most pressure. I think the Bills to me are kind of, this is like the second part of Allen's career. They had their first run, and now they got all the way to an AFC champ. Like the Chiefs won a Super Bowl in their transition phase. I mean, that's how good they were. But I think the Bills are kind of in their transition phase away from like the Stephon Diggs Bills onto this new version of the Bills now. So to me, their window seems a little bit more. I think Baltimore feels to me like, good Lord, if not now, when? I mean, how long can Travis Henry keep doing this? Like, it just feels like they feel like they have the most pressure in the league.
Yeah. There's a lot of pressure on, I think, both of those.
Yeah, agreed. They're the two most. But even Baltimore, yeah, there's a lot there. All right, a couple other things. Business of the league, ESPN and NFL have reached a new licensing agreement which will extend the ESPN's NFL draft rights beginning with the 2026 draft. Disney Plus and Hulu will remain in the streaming of the draft night. The big headliner here is ESPN owns the NFL network, and in exchange, the NFL gets 10% of ESPN going forward. So Red Zone will move over to ESPN as well. I did see this morning that it could open the door for some other Red Zone. They bought the Red Zone brand, so they will have an ability to do a college football Red Zone if they wanted to, an NBA-type Red Zone if they wanted to. I think the college football one would be a home run if they did that. But so all of those options are there, and so now ESPN will operate that. This has been rumored for a long time, obviously.
Oh, is this the time where I talk?
Sure. One.
Just kidding. I'm obviously, Bo, I'm a little bit maybe too close to the situation to talk too freely, but having worked there for 13 years, I could just speak for the people behind the scenes, both in front of the camera and truly behind the scenes. I think it's a weight lifted off the shoulders of everyone in the building in Inglewood. They just want to have some kind of clarity, because this has been, I was at the network for 13 years, and I only have positive memories. I'm only saying positive things now, certainly, because that's legit. That's how I feel. I'm not hiding anything here. Go back to when CBS first took over Thursday Night Football. What was it? Like, that was 2013? There were rumors then, CBS is going to buy the network. Mm-hmm. So this has kind of been hanging over, whether it was Culver City or Inglewood, the two places where they have the NFL network has had its studios in LA for all these years, for so long. And I think most people's reaction was just kind of like, okay, we now have a little clarity. But not really, because the feeling internally is not a lot is going to change this year, because it may take a year for regulatory approval, and throughout both press releases, the one last night and then the one again this morning, the one this morning being specifically about the draft, there are a lot of non-binding language, and this is going to happen but could change and things like that. So the thought at NFL Network, generally speaking, is we're as is this year, and then we'll see what happens in 2026. That's a little inside baseball. As for fans, more people can watch the network, right? And it will be integrated into the new ESPN direct-to-consumer app. The draft gets extended many years. I would assume it means NFL Network will no longer do the draft as a standalone NFL Network production next year. I'm going to guess that's what that means, but I don't know that for certain. The league is always going to tell you, if we can reach more fans and deliver the product to more people in an easier way with technology and reach more fans internationally, which is what Robert Kraft made the point of saying today, then it is a win for the fans.
The other headliner here, Z, is ESPN reached an agreement to become the exclusive rights home of the WWE and their premium live events in the United States. This is something Vince McMahon, obviously no longer with the company, but this is something that he's wanted forever, is a mainstream sports approach to WWE, and you're not going to get more mainstream than this, and it starts next year.
No, it'll be interesting to see kind of, how that plays out, but I think it certainly brings into the realm of possibility that, for example, WrestleMania will be on ESPN.
That's right.
And that is a wild situation to see that has finally come to fruition. And TKO obviously running as a business, they're making so much money, so much more than they were getting from Peacock for the same content in terms of the PLEs. People, they're really also, it's clear that ESPN is trying to prop up as much as possible this streaming, their direct-to-consumer stream. That's the whole, we're going to get this stuff here that's going to make you want to come make sure you get it. And for some people, it's kind of, man, I had NFL Network through my cable provider or my, YouTube TV in this case. I had the WWE was part of Peacock. And in some ways it's kind of like, oh, man, I got to get another thing. Now, I have ESPN. I don't know if the current ESPN that I have will carry on because I have it as part of the bundle with, Disney and Hulu.
Which is what I have as well. Yeah, I have no idea. Also, today,
or do I have to get a whole new ESPN?
Hulu's going away, it's been reported. That the Hulu content will now just integrate into, like, the Disney app, supposedly.
Which is fine.
That's fine.
Great.
Yeah,
But I'm just curious, as somebody who's already paying for ESPN, am I paying now more for a new ESPN? Is that ESPN the ESPN that has all this great stuff and like sweet that I've been a part of this for so long? I don't know.
You know who's going to lose? You.
Who?
The collective us.
Yeah,
we're just going to get charged more to have to download
more
apps.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it feels like.
We're going to get charged more to download more apps. It's going to become more inconvenient than ever, and that's what it is. I mean, if you want to watch a college football Saturday, you're going to have to bounce in and out of 3 or 4 apps in order to get that done. If you don't have a cable situation,
I mean, eventually they're going to have to do something. I mean, the next great frontier is being able to seamlessly switch between all of those apps or put them in one
split
place.
Screen this app and that app and
screen,
all of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Until we reach that, I feel like our lives are going to be overly complicated.
You just
right.
Of course,
just bring the cable.
Obviously.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
cable. That's all we did.
We had it all.
Can we just have cable back, where I can bounce around, just picture in picture. All right.
Well, that's a YouTube TV is basically cable, just an app, but you have that within YouTube TV.
Yeah.
And YouTube TV
That's
is
what
great,
you want.
but now it's like,
yeah. You want to have to do all of that.
Exactly.
All right. When we come back, what the guys expect, we have a walkthrough tomorrow. We'll go over through tomorrow's plans and get you set for all of those things. Some final thoughts from the joint practice today. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. It's presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Welcome back in. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. A couple other things around the league before we wrap up. The NFL suspending Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison for the first 3 games of the upcoming season for violating the league's substance abuse policy. 6-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Keenan Allen returning to the Chargers, 1 year, $8.52. They had a funny tweet of him in a Chargers jersey that I enjoyed a great deal. That was very good, I thought. And then the Colts announced Anthony Richardson.
Whatever it was from their social media team?
Yeah.
Their social media team was causing people consternation last night.
Oh, really?
I know that.
Consternation I'm unaware of.
DJ Uiagalelei tweet because he had been wearing 13. Yes. They were like dropping hints on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. DJ Uiagalelei, who started at Clemson and then to Oregon State and finished at Florida State.
Yes.
His brother is a stud at Oregon on the defensive line, Mateo. All right, so what does the next 24 hours hold for you two?
So we got a walkthrough tomorrow, all kinds of fun meetings and tapings and production stuff, and we got a game, guys, on Friday. I'm kind of fired up for it. I'm excited about. I might sit at home tomorrow night and watch their 3 other games tomorrow.
Yeah.
Around the National Football League, a full preseason Thursday night. I may make my own little preseason red zone with multiple tablets going in my hotel room.
Well, I think we could go after the Stefanski show. I'm sure Gibby can find a place that'll have games on all over the place.
Few people find places with beer and TVs better than Gibby.
Darn right. I'm going to need a cocktail by 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
That is a fact. Yeah, so it's kind of like tomorrow is. We got some taste of the action today, and then obviously nothing tomorrow, Bo. And then Friday night, I think it'll be one of the more anticipated preseason games in Browns history, and I don't even think that's hyperbole. I think it really is the truth, and it'll be curious to see what it ultimately looks like.
It's like Canton 99 with Tim Couch to Kevin Johnson in the right corner of the end zone.
Except
Maybe not.
In this scenario, your Kevin Johnson's not going to be on the field.
No, I guess do you guys feel like what was necessary to get accomplished today got accomplished? Because normally you get 2 days. You get 2 joint practices is usually how it works, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever only had 1 day of joint practice.
And the second one always turns into a fight. So
yes.
I think we're all happy with just one. I think O-line, D-line, both of those units look good. I think they got the work in they needed. I think it's always hard to get, and I talked to Jack Conklin about this too, it's hard to get a real read, I think, on the run game.
2 minutes.
When you're just playing against your own teammates.
Yep.
I thought that was good work today. Yeah.
You can hear that interview tonight on the debut of the Cleveland Browns preview show.
There you go. It is short and sweet as we were sitting on a golf cart in a downpour. Yeah, and I said, all right, Pacey, Jack, get out of here.
Jack
get dry.
Conklin, the Hoff, the cavalcade of stars.
Have we ever had, in our long run together, have we ever had enough from the clown go at Z?
What's he doing?
I don't think we've ever seen this. I mean, I've seen him
about Z not getting his rain gear.
Here's the tweet. Enough from the clown's our guy. Usually is anti-Gibbe, takes shots at Siciliano all the time, the crud. But in this instance, he comes at Z. It's amazing that Nathan Segura could constantly give the great Gibbe grief over everything.
Which I feel like is completely of that first sense. I feel like he has it backwards.
Then he goes, yet Nate pulls such a buffoon move.
1 minute.
Doesn't pack rain gear when everyone knows it's pouring in North Carolina. Good grief. He's turned on you. You've
called
left
it a
the
buffoon
state.
move. And first of all, I don't give Gibbe grief over everything. That's inverted there.
Has someone taken over?
Second of all,
the clown knows that the law is back in town.
Oh my goodness!
No one can see your hat on the street, but
This is unbelievable. The truth is, I knew it wasn't going to rain during the practice.
Oh, 30, clairvoyant
30,
Nate.
30.
Gavin Williams was throwing a no-hitter, kids.
I don't know who that is. All right, enjoy it, kids.
I don't know who that is either. That's a true I don't know. Is he on the Guardians?
Gavin Williams? You know who Gavin
I don't have
Williams
any idea who that is. The next level probably does, and they're coming up next. We are back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by
That's a big
Ballybet.
strike zone.
850 ESPN Cleveland.